Hello, Internet. This is Whispering Whim, and it is February already. New month means new grocery haul time. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I've got quite a few goodies today. And first up is this big old crinkly bag of pretzel chips. They taste like pretzels, but they're nice and flat so that you can put dips and stuff on them. You may recall from last month that I am starting to make my own hummus, and it's going pretty well. And I think we were getting a little tired of the pita chips, so pretzels seemed like the way to go. And then next up, we got some shorty sausages, Duke's brand. These are kind of expensive in the grocery store. It's usually like, I'd like to say $7 or $8 for a single of these inner packs. But for some reason at Sam's Club, it's like $10 for a 3-pack. So that's a pretty good deal, and it is definitely a diet-friendly choice. Back on that whole low-carb thing. Nothing too strict, but I'm watching my girlish figure. These won't help though. Good thing they're mostly for the lunches here. It is February, so there's lots of Valentine's themed snacks, and this one really caught my eye. It is basically a bunch of popcorn, different flavored popcorn, in little like foiled tubes, basically. And I'm not entirely positive that it'll fit in his lunch pail, so it looks a little on the long side, but fingers crossed that I can shove them in there. Otherwise, I guess he'll exclusively eat them on the weekends. Halloween that. Oh my goodness. We have my my vodka ration for the month. I tend to make myself just seltzer water, lemon water with a little bit of vodka. But when my guy is in the mood, I also make vodka martinis for him. So we tend to go through a whole bottle in a month. And at Sam's Club, this is only like $13. It's not a bad quality. I wouldn't call it top shelf by any stretch of the imagination, but it suits my needs just fine. And then we have, that was a load-bearing bag right there. Don't fall over. Okay. Not sure why I'm picking everything up upside down today, but next up is some almond pecan crunch. These are just little nut clusters that have a bit of honey holding them together. Or actually it's brown rice syrup. Kind of tastes a bit honey-like. But these are pretty tasty, and as long as you don't eat too many of them, they're pretty good for you. Little calorie dense, but otherwise pretty good. I definitely eat a lot more nuts when I'm trying to be diet conscious. But you have to be careful, because it takes very little. And we're going to go ahead and jump into this bag that wants to fall over. There's not too much in it. We have some Kleenex and more Kleenex with the lotion. I ordered even more spices from my local spice shop, and among the things I ordered was some dried Carolina Reaper peppers. Yes, and yesterday I decided to make a homemade barbecue sauce with them. And like any good cook, you have to try, at least a tiny bit so you know what you're putting into your recipe, right? And I I chopped it up. As it's like dehydrated, so it's easy to kind of turn into a powder. And I took like a grain of it, like about the size of a piece of salt, and kind of touched it to my tongue. I immediately started having a sneezing fit because it like hit the back of my throat somehow, or maybe I licked it back there. I don't know. But I started sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. It had to have been like 15 minutes straight of just nonstop sneezes. So I actually went through the last of our box that would have probably gotten us through another week or two, sneezing over this pepper. But it was all worthwhile. My guy enjoyed his barbecue sauce, or what was left of it, because of course after I spend half the afternoon making it, I decided to spill most of it all over the kitchen counter. Anyways, we got some seaweed snacks. I was super excited to see these in the store. For some reason, they go in and out of stock quite frequently. Mostly out of stock. Much less in stock, it seems. So, because I was so excited, I got 2 packages of them. And then finishing off this bag here, we've got some popcorn. I've been doing stovetop popcorn for, I don't know, at least a year now. It's been a bit of a while. And I just enjoy all the control. Once you, loud bang. Once you kind of learn how easy it is to do on the stovetop, there's no reason to have microwave popcorn. Like, it's cheaper to make it on the stovetop. It tastes better if you make it on the stovetop. Like, just the core popcorn tastes better. And then, because you've made it on the stovetop, you get to add whatever spices and flavorants that you want. So, I am a big fan. And I know I've said this before because I tell everybody, but popcorn is technically a whole grain, so you get a little bit of fiber. You can't say that for a lot of snacks. Next up, we have a giant Sam's Club pack of condiments, basically. I needed more ketchup to replace all of that barbecue sauce that I spilled on the counter. The ketchup is the base for it, and I needed ketchup for other things, so I decided to just jump in and get that giant old pack. We don't use mustard too often, but the relish will go to good use. Next up, we're into the crinkly Winco bags here. We have some white rice. It's a backdrop for many, many a meal. And we have some baby red potatoes, mashed potatoes to be specific. And got some circus animal cookies. These are definitely for the lunches, and because they're all like pink and happy, I'd probably get them no matter what the month was, but I'm going to use the excuse that it's February and we need pink things in February. Oh man, if you watch enough of these, you know that I just love to give him the girliest things I could possibly find. And just the fact that it cracks me up makes him happy to do it. So I've given him unicorn snacks like pudding and cakes and all sorts of silliness. And then following that, we got something fun for the lunches as well, because it is Valentine's Day. They have all those little like individually wrapped goodies that aren't always, or at least they're usually kind of hard to find individually wrapped. So I got some Sour Patch Kids. I was hoping for these sour gummy worms. They're a little different, not by a huge margin. And I'm sure if I went to another store I could have found some, but I went to 2 stores today, and I think that's enough. Next up, we have some fancy cakes, which aren't all that fancy. They're Little Debbie, but It's kind of fun. I enjoy the nostalgia factor of these fancy cakes. They were one of my favorite lunch snacks personally when I was younger. So I try not to eat them all when I buy them for his lunches. We got some pure vegetable oil next. That is mainly I use that for deep frying the taco shells that I make pretty much monthly, right? And then following that, boy, I did go very pink this month, didn't I? We have some mini strawberry donuts. That's for my guy's weekend breakfast. He gets all kinds of spoiled, I tell you. And then following that, we have some apple cider vinegar. I used the last of the bottle that I had previously had on that barbecue sauce that I spilled all over the counter. Anyways, let's move on here. Crinkle, crinkle. We have some white beans for my ever classic white chili with chicken and jalapeno. And then we have some sunflower butter. Last month I got some almond butter. And I'm just going through all the butters. But I have figured out how to make homemade energy bars. I won't say they're any less calories than your average energy bar. They're probably, well, maybe not more, but they are all natural, and I get to do lots of fun flavors with them, so that's exciting. Last month's main flavor was sort of like a cinnamon blueberry with the almond. So it's kind of like a breakfast bar kind of a taste. And this month I'm going to do more of a tropical one. So we'll see these. We'll see those ingredients as they pop up here. But in the meantime, we've got some kettle cooked jalapeno flavored potato chips, and then some cereal, and this box of honey bunches and oats with almonds is actually going to be one of the ingredients in my energy bars. So this is kind of like the filler, because if you do pure nut energy bar, A, it'd be a lot of calories, but B, it'd also be kind of expensive. So this is kind of just a stabilizer, if you will. Next up, if I can get it out of the bag here, and the bag doesn't fight me too much, we have a new flavor of kettle cooked chips, or at least new to this brand, and it is Parmesan garlic flavor. That sounded very appealing to me, and it's bad that I buy things that sound tasty, so then I want to eat them, but that's the sacrifice I make for the guy that I love. Speaking of, these are some sun-dried cherries, so that's going to be one of the ingredients that I will be using on his energy bars to put in his lunch. I was honestly getting really kind of tired of the flavors that they had available in my normal grocery store. Like, I felt like every brand had like a cranberry nut. There's always a peanut butter one, and like the expensive grocery store has a few more. They have like coconut and pretzel, but overall it's only like 4 or 5 flavors within, I should qualify that, within the type of energy bar that I approve of for his lunches. Like there's little Quaker Oats snack bar, granola bar, there we go, that's the word. Those are basically just sugar. They're all right, you know, you'll get a little fiber out of them, but I don't count them as a good source of protein, because they aren't. And I try to make sure that whatever energy bar, protein bar, snack bar goes in his lunch has some protein, and preferably fiber too. Anyways, I'm never going to get this done if I keep getting off track here. We have some sesame crackers. Those will be good with the hummus as well. And then finally, I bought something, a snack just for me. This isn't for my guy, although he'd probably enjoy them too. These are cheese crisps. Now, I haven't tried this brand before, but I have tried cheese crisps before. And basically, they just bake cheese until it dehydrates. So calling it a cracker isn't entirely accurate because it really is just cheese. Like, the ingredients are Parmesan cheese, and then parentheses, skim milk, cheese cultures, salt, enzymes. But anyways, I got a little tiny one in my stocking of a different brand. And my friend had gotten it for me specifically because it's low carb. Cheese itself isn't typically very high in carbs. And it really kind of satisfies that need for crunch, right? Because that's the thing you miss out the most when you're eating almost any kind of diet food, really. There's very few of them that have a good snap to them, like a potato chip would. So those are for me. They are a little expensive, so I'm not sharing them with him, but he has plenty of treats, so I think it'll be okay. Next up, we have some dried apricots. That'll also go into my energy bars. I'm debating whether to make one that just has all of the ingredients, because I kind of went tropical, fruity, nutty kind of combination. Or if I want to kind of branch out and specialize, like having the cherries on their own, doing something maybe with chocolate, and then having the apricot and the coconut, which I haven't shown you guys quite yet. I'll have to think about that. Moving along, we have some sleepy time tea. It's definitely our preferred caffeine-free tea. Definitely not our preferred tea overall, though. We really like caffeine in our tea, apparently. But we do have some garbanzo beans, and this is the base for hummus, if you didn't know. So these will go into the food processor and get ground up, and you add tahini and cumin and garlic and oil, and suddenly it's delicious, delicious hummus dip. This is some sweetened condensed milk, and this is definitely a cheating item for me. I picked up not too long ago some Thai tea, but it's like regular Thai tea that you would drink hot. And to get a classic Thai iced tea flavor, you should ice it and add sweetened condensed milk. And after having the hot one that's all, nice and low calorie and proper for me, I was like, oh, this just makes me want to have a regular Thai iced tea. So we're only going to do it once. Only got one little can, but one of these nights, some sugary, sugary tea is in my destiny. Next up, we have some Oreos. These ones are chocolate hazelnut flavor. I wonder how well they'll do that, if it'll really kind of have a Nutella kind of a taste. I have found that with these specialty Oreo flavors, they're really hit or miss. Some of them are delicious, genuinely delicious, and some of them are they just taste like sugar. There's a caramel coconut one that I picked up, goodness, ages ago. And I was really excited because coconut is my favorite flavor profile, I think, ever. And you don't taste the coconut in that particular one. It just tastes and it tasted like not quite like caramel, more like dulce de leche, which is kind of a caramel. I mean, technically it is a caramel, but not exactly what most people associate as caramel because it has milk and sweetened condensed milk in it and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, my coconut Oreos were not coconutty enough. So that was a disappointment. Anyways, we've got some flavor packets now. My favorite one, tomato, garlic, and basil. And then they had a new flavor that I was excited. I was excited enough that I bought 2 of them in case it's delicious. And this one is black garlic parmesan. And what's interesting is that it gives you kind of alternative options, because usually these are intended as marinades. But they have like a mix it into your burger option and use it as a rub, which I've actually done those things with the regular flavor packets anyways, but kind of interesting that they're branching out. And then the final flavor we have here is some garlic, herb, and wine. Next up, let's see here. Let's get this big old guy out of the way. Got a nice little bag of onions that are trying to shed all over my floor. And here's that coconut I was telling you about. So this is like big pieces of coconut that's been kind of sugared and dehydrated. But I was kind of excited because I didn't want like coconut, like shredded coconut in my energy bars. A, it's really sweet, and B, I don't know, in energy bars sometimes it almost comes off as like a grainy texture because it's like so fibrous. So for my tropical bars, I'm hoping that that'll be good. And I think it'll pair nicely with the dried apricots. And then the final thing on the counter before I reset for cold stuff is some good old paper towels. I just wanted like 1 roll. We don't use them that much. I try to be eco-friendly. But apparently 1 roll wasn't an option today, so 6-pack it is. But it's only $3 for all of those, so I suppose it wasn't a bad deal at least. On to our cooler stuff now. We've got some raspberries. I usually go much cheaper with our fruits, like apples and oranges, but I was kind of in the mood for some raspberries, and they were only $5 for that kind of twin pack, which, isn't terrible. Not great, not terrible. And then we have a big old bag of sugar peas. I'm definitely going to cook these up tonight. I've been dreaming of it. Not really, but as soon as I saw them in the store and saw how bright and green and happy they looked, I was like, oh yeah. I make like a sauteed sugar pea with a very heavy garlic sauce. It's basically like a whole handful of garlic and some butter, and it is really tasty. I enjoy it. And to help me with all that garlic, I ended up getting one of these packs of the pre-peeled stuff again. I mean, I feel a little guilty that there's so much plastic involved, but goodness, this makes life so much easier for me. I think it's okay to make a little bit of a sacrifice here. I've been slowly moving towards more eco-friendly stuff. So now I have like laundry detergent that's like little sheets. It's weird, but much less carbon footprint because they're so light. I got new dishwasher liquid, and I'm doing my part. I mean, it's not helping that I got plastic wrapped garlic, but you can't be a saint. Well, I guess you could, but I'd have a hard time doing it. Anyways, this bag that I'm twirling around here This is a whole bunch of jalapenos, and that goes on everything. What is it? My chili and hamburgers, and I make jalapeno poppers and just all sorts of things. Next up, some pepper jack cheese, just a big old block that I'll cut up and add to the lunches. We got some Mexican 4 cheese, put on top of that chili that I'm obviously going to be making this month, which I pretty much make every month. Some mozzarella cheese, and this will have a couple of different uses. And then peppered bacon. I only got one little pack, which is pretty unusual for me, but they increased the price, so now it's like over $7 for this. It's 1¼ pound, I believe. Yeah, 20 ounces. And that seems a little on the steep side. And I don't know what's going on because last time I was in the expensive grocery store, they actually had all their bacon on like super sale. So maybe it just went to the wrong place. But when I was at the super expensive store, you know, like I said, they had their bacon on sale, and they had like these odds and ends. They're really kind of annoying because none of them are shaped the same. It's like little pieces, but if you're gonna chop it up for like sauteing and, you know, similar applications, then it doesn't really matter that it wasn't in strips. And I kid you not, it was 3 pounds for $5. I was like, oh my, should I pick up 2? And then I didn't. So I'm hoping when I end up over there again, because I always forget something on this like big major grocery trip. So I always end up over there to buy like a thing. I'm hoping that they have more of that stuff on sale when I get there. Moving on though, we have some kielbasa. Oh, this makes me sad. So, my great aunt lives in Michigan, and that's the side of the family that's like 100% Polish. And she got it in her head that she was going to send all of the grandnieces and nephews kielbasa. And she got it from her local butcher shop that does like authentic, you know, grinding the meat and everything. And I think she like froze it and put it in like a little packet. I'm not entirely sure what safety precautions she actually took. But it got delayed in shipping, and it took over a month to get to my grandfather's house, because she kind of sent it to him because he lives in town with us, and he was going to distribute it to all of the grandnieces and nephews and her regular nieces and nephews. We almost all live in the same town. And for some reason, he thought that it would still be okay. He's like, it's a smoked sausage, it'll be fine. Kielbasa, it is smoked, but it's not dehydrated. You know what I mean? Like, it's still a pretty wet meat. And he ate his, and he's like, yeah, it's fine. And he gave me my pack. And when I got excited, because it looked okay to me, so I was like, maybe it'll be fine. And as soon as I opened it up, oh, it was super moldy. Like all underneath where you don't see it. Super, super moldy. And of course, my great aunt had spent a lot of money buying these sausages and sending them out. So I felt bad, but he might have the constitution to eat a bunch of mold, but I don't. Anyways, got some regular old chicken. I've been waving that around for a while now, since I told my kielbasa story. And then I've got some ground beef and some bell peppers. These are gorgeous. Let's see if I can get them without making everything fall over. I failed. They are just big, gorgeous bell peppers. So I'm gonna definitely be doing some stuffed bell peppers here soon. So all that ground beef will be helpful. And then finally we have some home-style ranch. Sam's Club has this giant bottle for like $6, and that's the brand I prefer. It's kind of a nicer brand than Hidden Valley, in my opinion. And then we got some half and half. I actually picked up 4 of these, but I figured I might as well just leave the other 3 in the refrigerator while I do the video. And wrapping up our fridge stuff, we have a big old bag of broccoli, which sadly, we eat so much broccoli, it's only gonna last like 2 weeks maybe, but it's probably for the best that I don't pick up 2 packages, because it doesn't last as long in the refrigerator as, say, like carrots do. This stuff, it'll mold if you let it. For those of you who might be still watching, you'll see some love bugs on your screen right now. And even if you're not watching, you probably can hear a difference in the audio. Basically, for the last 4 minutes of my grocery haul, my sound recording software decided to go all buggy, and I lost the audio for just like, I think it's only 1 more bag. So I am doing a voiceover for the rest of the film here, which isn't much longer. It really isn't. But I just couldn't like completely cut off the end without saying all my goodbyes. So that's why I'm doing the voiceover. Anyways, I think that is a long enough explanation. Let's go ahead and get back to the actual grocery haul. We are at my freezer bags right now, and I pulled out some breadsticks for my guy, and then I'm going to show you upside down per my usual some zucchini. I can't tell you how many times I'm editing these videos and I notice that I'm picking everything up upside down. I don't know why it doesn't bother me until I'm in like editing mode, but it does bug me a little bit. So then we have our usual plethora of veggies. There was Asian stir fry, San Francisco blend, more Asian stir fry. Let's see here. The next one is Asian stir fry. Oh, I accidentally, and I even remember being surprised when I was pulling them out of the bags. I didn't mean to get 3 of the same flavor, but they all work just the same, so it's not quite a big deal. Anyways, our next item is asparagus stir fry, because we're not done stirring that fry stuff. And then I believe this one is the Normandy blend. Let's see here. Yes. It's good that I can remember what I purchased. I recorded the video last week, and it was supposed to go up last week. And when I was editing it, I discovered that problem and had to wait for a nice quiet time to finish this recording. So my brain is already fuzzy on what I picked up. But I think I remember what the last little thing in that bag was. Yep. That is my cheat food. Some good old tater tots. I went with a different brand And I have eaten these since recording. And they're not, it's funny, they advertise as crispy, like super crispy tots. And I found that they were less crispy than like regular Orita. I don't remember how to pronounce that brand name, but the standard potato brand, freezer potato brand in my area, I think it's Orlata. Oh man, that's gonna kill me. I know one of you will do the Google thing and tell me how to say it, but anyways, it was sad because I was really excited for having tater tots because even though they're kind of like a cheat item, I was craving them for one. Oh my goodness. But also, like, if you stick to a regular serving size, if I recall correctly, they were only like 150 calories, 22 grams of carbohydrate, which is a little on the high side, but not too bad. And that's it. That is all of the groceries I still had to show you when my audio equipment failed, right? So let's go ahead and do our shout outs. Thank you to Kyla Smith, Wicca Banks, and Jana for commenting. And also a extra special thanks to all of you guys who are on my Instagram and encouraging the art stuff. That's pretty awesome. So I will talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.